Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing the Book Snob book tag. This was originally created by Tia and All the Books, as far as I can tell. Hello, Beastie. That's my cat in the background. It's after work and I've been napping, and she always gets a little bit upset when I come back into the office and I start talking to people she can't see. Uh, anyway, so this tag was made by Tia and All the Books, and I actually found this done by somebody that I recently started following, and I can't remember who. But I watched it and I liked the questions, and I couldn't think of a video to do today, so I said, why not a book tag? So let's jump right into it. The first tag is Adaptation Snob. Do you always read the book before you see the movie? Typically, yes. I like to form my opinion of the character and what I think they should look like before I watch the movie. Now, that's not to say I always do. I mean, sometimes it happens by accident. I didn't know it was a book before I watched the movie. Or sometimes I'm just so interested in the idea that I don't care to watch the movie or the TV show before the book. Most recently, I did that with Mindhunter. I watched all of the series that's available on Netflix before I read the book. Actually, I haven't finished reading the book yet. I need to do that. It's on my TBR. I'll get it done eventually. Number 2 is Format Snob. You can only choose one format in which to read books for the rest of your life. Which one do you choose? Physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks? So, past me wouldn't have had any trouble answering this question. I would have gone physical books 100% of the way, because I love the look, the feel, the scent, and everything about physical books. However, I am starting to lean more towards ebooks for several reasons. One, they're much more portable. I can carry like 4,000 books with me on my phone or in an e-reader. There's also the fact that I don't have to worry about lighting as much, which is handy. And because they're so handy and they're portable and everything, and I always have my phone with me, I can read at any time. Or like both me and my fiance on varying occasions have some light sensitivity. So if I'm reading an ebook, I can have the lights off when it bothers him or me and still read and enjoy my experience. Whereas when I'm reading a physical book, I mean, I can get one of those little book lamps or something like that, but I've yet to find a book lamp that I really, really like and that lasts very long. So I have trouble with that. So I'm starting to lean more towards ebooks, but I'm also still kind of fence-sitting. And I'm starting to enjoy audiobooks more, but because of the way my brain works, I can only pay attention to audiobooks during specific time periods. And so those I'm not fence-sitting on, but I am beginning to become a fence-sitter on physical books versus ebooks. Now, I will say, if it's a book I really, really like, even if I initially read it as an ebook, I will frequently buy the physical copy of the book because I like it that much. Like my Stephen King books, I have some of those as both ebooks and physical copies because I'm collecting those, and I have some Dean Koontz and Peter Straub books as well where I'm collecting those. I love having the physical copy, but I am finding more and more that I'm falling into my e-reader, my ebooks these days. So number 3 is Ship Snob. Would you date or marry a non-reader? Yes. And in a way I kind of am. So my fiance, he reads and he likes to read, but he doesn't read like I do. For me and him, he plays video games more for his escapism, and I also play video games, but we're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. He reads books like I play video games. I enjoy it, I like to do it, I can escape with it, but my my escapism of choice is reading and his is gaming. So yes, I would, and I plan on it. So number 4 is genre snob. You have to ditch one genre, never to be read again for the rest of your life. Which one do you ditch? Ooh. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the easy one and pick biographies. Does that count? Because typically I don't get into those very much, so it wouldn't mess with me terribly much. Unless you count true crime as biographies, but I don't think so. So biographies, that's what I'm getting rid of because that hurts me less. So number 5 is uber genre snob. You can only choose to read from one genre for the rest of your life. Which genre do you choose? For me, that one's easy. Thrillers. That's been the mainstay of my reading for most of my reading career. Yeah, I'm going with that. For most of my reading life, I have loved thrillers. So if I could only read one type of book for the rest of forever, it would be thrillers. Number 6 is community snob. Which genre do you think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? This one's a bit weird for me to answer because I follow a very diverse group of people on booktube and on book Twitter and on bookstagram and that sort of thing. So I think because I follow so many people, like pretty much if I'm scrolling through social media or YouTube or whatever, and you have a booktube channel or a bookstagram, or you talk about books on Twitter, I probably follow you or have subscribed to you, and I probably watch your videos at least on a semi-regular basis. So I don't think I notice it as much. I would say probably, though, when I'm talking to people, the closest I get to seeing book snobbery would probably be like against like the really cheesy bodice ripper romance novels. And I used to be really snobby towards those too, but as I get older, sometimes I find a little bit of joy in the just sheer absurdness of some of the bodice ripper romance novels, so I'm less snobby about them, and occasionally I'll actually choose to read them just as an escape from my normal genres, just for something completely different. And then number 7, snobbery recipient. Have you ever been snubbed for something that you've been reading or for reading in general? Growing up, I feel like I was snubbed for reading in general because the family I grew up in, they weren't readers whatsoever. And so, because I enjoyed spending time like in my room reading books, and they were more the type of people who were like be up and doing something. It was seen as me sort of being more lazy than they were, but it's just what I was into, and I love books and reading and learning, so that's what I was into. So that's the closest thing I've really experienced to that. And as far as reading something, I mean, I have had like little snide remarks for reading like the bodice ripper romance novels. And then of course, I don't know if this really counts. I've been given the side eye for a certain genre of thriller that I occasionally like to read, and I totally get why. Because it's a bit on the out there side. So there is this subgenre of thrillers that is erotic horror. And it sometimes gets really dark. But sometimes I like to, I like thrillers and I like true crime, and I like to explore that really dark part of human creativity. So I like to read those sometimes, not all the time. And I don't like, the only thrill, I get the same thrill out of it that I get from a regular thriller, so it's not like weirdness. But I have, like, on occasion when I've let people know that I'm into that genre, gotten kind of a side eye, like, okay, what's wrong with you? That's weird and it's really gross. And I get it. I understand. It's not for everybody. It's one of those niche genres that I think a lot of people don't even know exists. But with books, it's kind of like Rule 34. It's probably out there if you know where to look. And so, yeah, I don't know if that qualifies as snobbery or just, like, being completely weirded out. But yeah, I get that one either way. So that is the last question for this. And because I decided to do this book tag at random, I don't have anyone to tag in it. So we're going to just call this one another blanket tag. And if you're watching this book tag and you haven't done it yet, totally do it. And if you're not into making videos, leave me your answers down below in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. Especially anything that I said that you don't agree with or that you think is weird, like the erotic horror. I love to have conversations about books, and especially in my comments. And as I'm seeing a couple of you pop up more regularly, I'm really enjoying talking with you. So definitely let me know what's going on with you, how you feel about this book tag or some of the questions. And if you're new here, subscribe to my channel if you like my content. Whether you're new here or not, if you like this video, hit that like button. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.